My name is Beth McDonald Stone, and I'm an avid knitter and knitwear designer coming to you from Bermuda. It's been 3 weeks, not the usual two, and I'm sorry about that. My intro says I'm an avid knitter and knitwear designer, and to be honest, I've just struggled with knitting and especially design the last little while, and I'm definitely feeling in a bit of a knitting slump. So last week I just felt like I had nothing really to report back and tell you about or whatever, and I wanted a little bit more time. So had a little bit more time. I think I'm at the tail end of my knitting slump, and we'll talk all about it today and what I'm trying to do to get myself out of it, because I really like to have knitting on my needles, and I know this happens to everyone. It's just how it is, but it kind of sucks. Anyways, no big deal. Let's talk about that as we go on. To start with, the featured pattern today is the Get Out of the Pool tee in both fingering and DK. Both patterns are on sale. It's getting warmer here in Bermuda. It's not like summertime. I'm not wearing my new summer knits. Sewing projects that I've got these lovely summer cords that I've been making, and I'm having so much fun making them. It's not totally that, but I can wear the skirts with something like this, which is a knitted t-shirt, and that's really fabulous. So the Get Out of the Pool tee is a really simple pattern with the concept of having wonderful hand-dyed yarns that you don't want the pooling to be inconsistent throughout. So the idea that I thought of was that with hand-dyed yarns, the pooling is going to be fairly regular as long as the width of your panel, of your knitted panel, stays the same. So basically all the measurements, the width, the diameter of the sleeves, everything like that is all consistent. So you have a wider sleeve because, of course, if this is unraveled, this is the same width as the body, et cetera, so that there's you can claim consistency in the knitting and the pooling. Well, claim consistency with the knitting and the pooling because it's the same width. Sorry, I'm just repeating myself. It just didn't sound quite right. But yeah, so I hope that makes sense. And I love the pattern. I think it's really great. I do have all these ideas. I've got all these ideas for new other designs. I'm just stuck. And I have an idea for this design or a newer version of this, and I just need to get going on it. I just need to get going. Anyways, I love this. I think it's really chic. It's really simple. I've got two versions. This is the fingering weight version that I use La Bien-Aimée Twist Nouveau in the pop grunge color. And I also knit it in DK weight cotton yarn, hand-dyed cotton yarn. It's really great. And I'm saving that because I can still wear merino wool right now. I really can't wear merino wool when it gets into the 80s. It's just too hot for me. I mean, I can in the air conditioning, but we leave our house pretty much wide open, and Bermuda is really, the 80s is kind of a really warm 80s because we have such high humidity too. And I find my pores open up with the humidity and the heat, and so I can't wear merino or any kind of wool, natural wool content. So I'm enjoying my wool sweaters while I can, and in the evening I'm actually wearing proper wool sweaters, still packing it all in because I know pretty soon I'm gonna have to pack it all away for the summer, and then I'll be wearing more of my cotton knits and things like that. And it's all good. It's all part of the season. So yeah, so this pattern is 20% off, and the DK weight pattern until April. Sorry, I have to remember what month we're in. April 3rd, Friday, April 3rd. No coupon required or anything, just, it's all there. Start planning your spring and summer knits. It's really fun. And depending on whatever fabric or yarn you used for it, it'll work for any time of the year, and it's great. So I hope that works for you. Yeah, so finished objects. This I finally finished. The yarn I ran out of yarn. When I bought the yarn at one of the Indian Tangled before Rhinebeck, I knew I was short on this pine color, but I thought, I'll figure it out, and I really hit a wall. So I reached out. This is from North Bay Fibers, and I reached out and actually made a new friend. Jill Zielinski's been amazing. We've been kind of emailing back and forth, and she sent me some extra skeins. Amazingly, you can't tell the difference. I mean, this is what, like 4 months later, probably from when she dyed it. And it looks amazing. I love the yarns. So this is North Bay Fiber in Bayhouse, DK. color jack pine, and beach glass is the purple color. And then I waited until I got to Vogue knitting because I really wanted a fuzzy Surrey DK, and Camellia Fibers had exactly that. So that's Camellia Fibers Surrey DK, and it just created that texture that I really wanted. I was really kind of thinking of inspiration being sort of old-fashioned flocked fibers or fabrics or wallpaper, you know, where you've got sort of a matte canvas kind of thing with like very high textured sections coming through, and that's what I got here as a result, and I love it, and it feels so good on because this just sort of hugs your shoulders, this sort of softness, and you can really feel it on the inside too, so that's great. This was a really fun pattern to knit. For some reason, again, just with my brain this year, this was so hard to write, and it was not a complicated pattern, but this is part of my knitting design fatigue. I'm working, parenting a parent who's been diagnosed with dementia, and anyway, so my brain is full, and just the simplest like grading, just, I mean, I spent weeks on this grading, and it's not difficult because, as you can see, it's basically a raglan. I started with a few yoke increases here just to get the immediate width very quickly, and then raglan shaping, and then I think there's extra sort of underarm stitches to make a difference. Nothing difficult, nothing rocket science, nothing hard to knit, nothing hard to design. But for some reason, I was so distracted elsewhere that took forever, and so that is part of my sort of mental state these days. So so that explains that, and will explain what the designs that I've been working on next, and I'll talk about that in a second. But I'm really proud of this knit. It's a shame it's like finished and ready for testing basically as we enter spring, because I think it's a very winter knit or winter design. But that's okay, because actually I've been talking with another friend. I hope you guys all watch the Twin Set and Pearl podcast. Really good, really great twin sisters, Rachel and Joanna. And we are going to do some collaborations. And I think Joanna is working on now a collaboration on a shawl to go with that. So she has just started on that. So basically, I think we're going to hold this pattern out until the fall, late summer, early fall, to release it then, and release both designs at the same time, because it's kind of cool to have a design buddy to work on and release together. So I know I had gone around and around in circles and chatted with a few of you online as to whether I would do it late spring for the people south of the equator, or wait until next winter. But I think I'm going to wait till next fall, winter, because my buddy's making another design to complement it. So how fun is that? How cool, huh? So really good. I think I will still do the test knit for it soon, just because anyone asks me any major questions, it's better while I'm still remember how it's done. You know, that sort of thing. So I probably will do a test call for it. So if you really are urgently wanting to knit this sweater, email me. My email address is below, and you can go on the test call and, you know, get it going sooner rather than next year. But I'm really proud of it. It was worth the extra work and hassle, and just, you know, just circular thinking. Just, I love Excel spreadsheets. I love math. I find grading really fun because you've got all the different permutations that you're trying to hit at the different sizes, you know, where you want your neck and your shoulders and your bust and your arms and everything. And, you know, doing the math to get each portion of the sweater to those stages really genuinely floats my boat and makes me so satisfied. But this was like pulling teeth. And I'd wake up and I'd look at it the next day and be like, what math did that do? Like, what was I doing there? You know, and my Excel spreadsheets were crazy. And so you'd have to like basically start on a fresh page and think, okay, back to the symbols, and do it again. And, you know, it just, it said where I was mentally, and it wasn't there. So I haven't been knitting sweaters or anything. I've been knitting socks. I've finished another vanilla pair of socks, which I promptly gave away. I'll put a picture here. Really fun using yarn that I bought at the Little Red Mitten in September when I was there. And it's the Lang Yarns Super Soxx. Knits up beautifully. It's a superwash, but it feels like a non-superwash wool. The stitches just line up just spectacularly. It's not my skill. I think it's the yarn, and the colors were fantastic. The colorway was 500 color tennis. And as I was knitting it, it just made me think of a friend and her color sense, which is very similar to my color sense. And so she came for dinner on the weekend with all the family. We have a family dinner almost every other weekend here with basically all of Jeff's family, my husband's. They all live around here. And a couple of weeks ago, Jeff's dad had said, "You're always knitting socks, and you always say that I'll knit me a socks," and I never had received any. He has, he's just forgotten. But anyways, so they came over for dinner on Sunday, and I had socks for everyone. And it feels so good because I love knitting socks, and like I talked about before, I don't wear them very often because I walk around here barefooted. If I go outside, maybe I'll slide on Birkenstocks or sneakers, which you could wear socks. But anyways, yeah, I usually just take them when I'm traveling in the winter. So I had a ton of pairs that I've never worn, and all the family members were happy recipients. Some took two, some took one. The other thing is my consistency with the length of the foot. When I knit has been historically all over the place. And knitting has a lot of give. So my mother-in-law is very petite, so she took a couple pairs of the ones that I knit that were a little too small for me. My sister-in-law's roommate has a very big foot, so he got the one that I did that was too long, and anyways, it all worked out. So 8 pairs of socks down, great. So I have lots of reason to cast more on, and I'm excited about that. Because actually socks are something that I'm really craving knitting. For some reason, that's just satisfying. It's around and around. I'd like to do more with lace and stuff like that, lace or cables on them, but it's small, it's bite-sized, it's what I can handle mentally right now. And so happy to have made room for more. And you'll probably see more coming. The other thing that I've been designing that I've really been enjoying is, I think I'm wearing it. I love mosaic knitting. There's something really satisfying about it. It's sort of slipping stitches and knitting stitches, and just, it's very rhythmic, and I really like that. And the designing of mosaic knitting I find really interesting because it's basically pixelation, where you're basically using, dark light, or color A, color B, color A, color B. And there's kind of rules with it in order for it to work. And when you can change color this way and when you can change color the other way, sort of dark to light, light to dark. And it's just because of how the stitches stack and line up and how it works. So I've started, and I love bandanas. I've always loved bandanas. I've always collected bandanas. I always travel. I always wear bandanas. And I thought, let's just make bandanas. Let's just work on designs. So this was my first one here. I'm really pleased with it. And basically, what I wanted to nail first, in a bandana, I always think of paisleys. And so I wanted to nail sort of a paisley shape that works in mosaic knitting. And that's kind of tricky because mosaic knitting is very square, and this is an organic shape. So it was fun. So this is the first shape that I designed here. And then, of course, you've got the border. I will put an inspiration photo up here for this basic bandana design. And I think it's been really successful. The great thing with mosaic knits is it kind of creates a really square fabric. I mean, it's not perfectly square because you can see that one direction is slightly wider than the next direction, and now I'm confusing myself which it is, but it's ever so slightly. So effectively, it was very easy to make a perfect square, 22 inches, which is basically the shape of a standard cotton bandana. So this was taken from a really simple design, and I thought really worked successfully in my mind. The yarn I used here, the peach color is from Myak, and it is, Tibetan Cloud, color Lotus Blossom, and then the fading color is Spincycle Dyed on the Wool, color Valley Girl, and I just thought that was really fun. Orange and blue being, of course, opposite colors, and they just sort of play together really well. And colors that I have a lot in I don't really have orange, but pinks and peaches and stuff work really well for me in my um, wardrobe. So I like to wear bandanas like this. When I wear a cotton bandana, I have a really nice old tortoiseshell ring that I basically use just to kind of gather it like this. This is a bigger ring because it's bigger fabric, and this is just an old resin ring that I have. I don't know where I got it, but I think it looks great, and it stays there, and it's cute and cozy, and kind of elevates. When I travel, I always travel with sometimes silk scarves, but to be honest, recently I've been enjoying the casual nature of a bandana, and so I think when you want to go out for dinner or like hang out or just look a little bit more put together, you can do this really easily, and you're there. I used to always wear it like this, which I'm not saying I won't in the future, but I really think that looks cool too. I also really like the underside, the backside of Mosaic knitting too. I think it's really satisfying and shows some really cool motifs. So I'm really pleased with this sort of design exploration that I'm working on, and it's satisfying, and I think the instructions will be really easy to write up, and that's what my brain needs right now. You know, basically cast on X many stitches, work chart, cast on X many stitches using a 2-color cast on, really simple. YouTube is amazing. And then work chart and, you know, bind off with a I-cord bind off. I mean, simple, satisfying, and I really like the knit. So that's the first one. This is bandana number 1, my original names. If you have any suggestions, but I'm happy with bandana 1, bandana 2, bandana 2. But, you know, maybe I can come up with a theme, because I think a series title, you know, and then go from there, because I think this will be a series for a while. Just while I'm in this sort of brain space, this is as much as I can come up with, and I find it really satisfying working out the details. Just designing. I have my spreadsheet all set up basically, and working on a border, working on the inside motif. I like having an inspiration to start because I just need a little direction right now. So yeah, so my next bandana, this one here, I will insert the image here of the inspiration, and this is what I've come up with. I'm basically, this morning over my morning tea, I finished the knitting, and I just have to do the I-cord bind off, and it will be done in a, you know, alternating color bind off so that all the edges match. And this was really fun. This yarn combination I've had for quite a while, and it is a design that I really wanted to do since I received the yarn from Karen Posniak from Do You Knit. Came to Bermuda last summer, and we hung out, and she brought me yarn from her store. That's her in-house collection, and this is called Smashing Sport, and color Crimson Kiss, and that's the red, and I loved it, and I immediately was like, oh my gosh, I love sort of red and turquoisey blues together. I think it's really an exciting combination. And so when I was in New York City last summer on vacation, I found this very cool yarn. Here's the remnants, and up at Annie's Needlecrafts on the Upper East Side, and that is called Ella Ray Marmel, color 33 Peridot, and this is a cotton blend. So this is a really cool yarn. I've got 2 more balls of this, and I've got quite a bit more of Karen's yarn, so I'm really hoping I still will do that design. It's the one that I was talking about that's sort of a similar concept to this, but I really want to do like a flame stitch, because I think these colors in a flame stitch would be so cool. So that's the concept. It's been in a concept, in a bin, ready to go, talking to me in my office, but I just haven't started it. I need to. I think I even know what stitch pattern I'd like to go with, but yeah, it's gonna come. It's gonna come. I'm feeling like I'm at the other side of this sort of period of ennui. But anyways, so this bandana I love. I think it's so cool. You don't need to use color changing yarn in the background. I just find it really fun and satisfying and exciting to see the evolution and the color shifts. Maybe I'll knit one with just 2 solid colors. I don't know. We'll see. I'm now just sort of gonna literally bind this off, and I'll audition other bandana designs that I see on the internet or in my collection for the next iteration or version. But yeah, so really fun. And basically you just need one skein of each. Although I'll be curious, this was one skein of each, one of spin cycle and one of, and less than one, like maybe even 2/3 of the Myak. This is probably 2/3 of the Smashing Sport and pretty much almost one entire of the LRA. So once I get the pattern written, which, like I said, should not take much, it'll have, of course, yarn requirements there. And I mean, I think it'd be great for scraps too. So really cool. Anyway, so that's kind of in the works, but slowly and kind of feeding my soul. That sounds cheesy, but making me feel productive and creative without breaking my brain. So yeah, loving it. And then of course, I am a knitter that's easily confused with repeats and stuff like that. So I always suggest putting stitch markers between repeats or between sections in a pattern. So that's what those are on the top. And the pattern will have those markers in it so that, because there is a lot going on, that if you just work at one column at a time, it just makes it so much easier. And then you'll see the pattern repetition and it makes the knitting more enjoyable. But that's, you do you, but that's how I do it, and I highly recommend it. It all goes back to my math tutor from middle school, when math used to confuse me, but she realized that basically I didn't leave things in columns, and if I just lined things up in columns, I could see what was going on, and my math skills were actually really good. So it's basically all, for me, if things are neat and tidy and organized, I can see the forest for the trees. If things are chaotic and up in the air, then I'm overwhelmed. And so there you go. That's the status of my brain. And I think things are getting more and more organized and I'm feeling less chaotic. So that's that. So the other thing I've cast on in hopes of just getting excited about knitting again is the Bonbon cardigan by Miir Knits. Doesn't it look great? It's going to be awesome. Anyways, this is just the back panel. It's a really charming design. I will again try to put a picture here for you of it. I think it's just very sweet. It's very sort of spring-like. I think it'd be great for travel. And yeah, and I think that color is really great. I purchased this yarn last summer when I was in New York City. My husband and I went out to Brooklyn when the Wandering Flock had an open house, which was really cool, really fun. I was so hot. It was a bit of a walk from the subway, probably really not that far, but it was just really hot and the sun was really strong. And I just remember like my waterworks had turned on, and so we got into the Wandering Flock studio, and I just could not stop like perspiring heavily. And my husband started making me laugh about it too, and then it sort of all went to shit. And then you're trying to buy yarn and you're like hot and sticky, and I felt like, sorry, Geraldine, I don't want to touch anything. Anyways, I touched this. I bought this. It's great. What is this? This is the Wandering Flock, and the base is 35% organic cotton, 30% mulberry silk, 20% linen, and then 15% baby alpaca. With the baby alpaca, this does have a window for me, but I see this as a spring, like something I'd wear today, like I'm wearing this. And also something to take when I'm traveling for like the evenings to put on if it's chilly. So I'm excited about this. The color is Qing, and I just think it's a really spectacular color. I do love those sort of soft, I don't say sort of smoky blues, like those mid-tone colors of sort of like a smokier navy to teal to turquoise, that sort of soft mid-tone range, and that really does it for me. Looks good with the gray, looks good with my hazel eyes. It makes them look a little bit more blue. And yeah, no, it's a good one. So that was great. So I'm working on that. We'll hopefully see some more progress. I am also finding right now when things are a little chaotic and I'm trying to do a lot of paperwork for, yeah, everything. and a lot of detailed paperwork, stuff that I find anxious making, like, legal documents and things like that, and proofing and bill paying and, all that sort of stuff where I feel like I've really got to concentrate and do it right, like online computer banking and all that. When you're really focused. Where was I going with that? I really find I'm limited with my knits, but I can only work on one thing at a time. For some reason, like having multiple things on my needles just doesn't work. Like the whole idea of having the bandana that I'm working on and then putting that down and picking this up, and then my brain goes, what am I doing here? Like, I can't figure this out. Or what if this is not easy? Like, it's not how it usually is for me, where I can just sort of flip between 2 or 3 projects, which is traditionally my happy spot, where now it's like one thing only, focus on it until it's complete and go from there. So I really, as you see, haven't done anything here because I've focused on this one bandana. I will bind that off tonight, and then I'll focus on this cardigan, and it'll be great. And I will enjoy that. And I believe this cardigan is knit in pieces. This is the back, and then 2 fronts, and then shoulder sleeves. So it should be good. And I'm hoping it really sort of reinvigorates me, because I've got a lot of ideas. I just need to get those ideas from the concept to work out the details to get it going, and all that good stuff. So the one other thing that I have been doing a lot of, which I found immensely satisfying, and I've talked about it before, last summer I learned to sew. I went to take a sewing class at a sewing studio in the garment district of New York City. We vacation in the city for a month every summer usually, and I like to take a class. That was the class of main focus this past summer. And it was fantastic, and it sort of unleashed sewing opportunities for me. I'm a person that loves wearing skirts. I always wear skirts. Don't really wear many pants, although I've sewn a lot of pants and they actually fit great, and maybe I'll wear them more often. But I love skirts, and sewing skirts is so much fun. And I can see every time I work on something that my sewing skills get better and better. My lines get straighter. My understanding of the different fabric weights get better, and so on. Products, I understand the stitches that they're talking about more, understand why they're telling me like understitch. I couldn't figure that out for months, but I did it, or didn't, whatever the spirit moved me. And now when I'm working on a project, I understand more and more. And it's just so wonderful. It's just great, and it's scratching another itch. So what I found is, up until now, I've kind of been buying 3 yards of fabric whenever I order fabric, because I didn't really know what I was doing, and that seemed like a good amount. And so now what I've come up with is 3 yards makes the perfect summer set, or cohort, or whatever you want to call it. So the first one I did was this. And I had this lovely fabric from Merchant & Mills. I treat myself to their fabric. We have a fabric store, a sewing shop on the island. It's very limited. I have purchased fabric from them. It's a lot of synthetic fabrics, which isn't my thing. I perspire very heavily in synthetics. So, and it's not very inexpensive, so it's not like a great sort of place where I can practice on it then. So I've been finding online sewing stores. Merchant & Mills is lovely. Their fabrics are divine. And so this was the first color I did. So this is 3 yards. I've been making this sort of version of the Matilda skirt from Merchant & Mills, but I've been trying to preserve yardage, so I just use a full width. That's a seam in the back. You can't even see it, which is great, because the selvages were very tidy. So just a seam in the back, patch pockets with whatever is left after cutting the top out too, a paper bag waistband and elasticated waist. And then this is the Ashton top from, is it so brave? Oh, Helen's Closet. And I do the crop version because I'm very high-waisted, and that therefore it gives a nice sort of shape of a waist. And I love that, what do they call it, the burrito method, with all these sort of seamless sort of faced fronts and backs. That's magic, and I have so much fun doing that. So this was the first one. Love it. And then I remembered in the fall or in the summer, I had sewn this skirt, which is another basic version of Merchant and Mills Matilda skirt. You can see it's earlier in my days. The edges they aren't that tight and things aren't as perfect. So I have definitely evolved and I will continue to evolve. But I love this fabric, love this skirt, love its imperfections. And I luckily had like a yard left. And so I made a matching top. So number 2. And so on. So I've just had so much fun. This is another great linen madras plaid not check, really super. And then the last one I did over the weekend, I first sewed the skirt using a very light denim from a Japanese denim, again from Merchant and Mills. And this is another skirt pattern that I really like for it. And again, it only takes 2 yards to make this skirt for me. And I'm glad about that because I can then still get 3 yards, a little outfit. And this is the Peppermint skirt by Paper Theory. And I love it. It's a free pattern. Love it, love it, love it. I love a big pocket. The pocket's just going to fold up here. I like a paper bag waistband, and I could, if I remember, I could probably modify this pattern very easily and do that. I think it's a really nice finishing detail. But this is great, and I made this top to go with it, and I'm super excited. And so it's just so much fun, and I love wearing the clothes that I make. I like them so much more, to the point where I have a nice collection of clothing that I've purchased over the years, and I'm slowly getting rid of it because, sort of like my sweaters from years ago, I don't have any store-bought sweaters in my closet at all anymore, except I think I've got my mother's high school cashmere cardigan that looks amazing because it was from like the 50s and great quality cashmere, and I have no idea how the moths haven't eaten it. There are moths in Bermuda. But, you know, so aside from anything like that that's nostalgic, I have no sweaters, knits that are store-bought. And I'm going to do the same with clothes. And I am super excited. And I love it. And I feel more like me in them. Like they seem to suit me more. Make me feel great. I know they're not perfect. I know there's some weird stitches in them. I know sometimes I put them on backwards because, like sweaters, sometimes I just can't figure out which is the front and back, but who cares, right? And I love it. And I think I just stand a little taller in it or walk a little stronger. So anyways, so I'm loving that. And so I guess the itch to stitch is definitely there. Maybe that's also surpassing some of the knitting, but there's nothing like having a lovely knit at the end of the day when you're cooling out, watching TV, hanging with the family. And so I just have to make sure that I keep that side going. I love it so much. It's very important to me. And also keep going with the sewing because it's just so much fun. It's so rewarding. And yeah, I can't say more about it. The other thing I'm learning is there's also really nice fabric to work with, and there's some really horrific fabric to work with for my level right now. I did sew a really cool dress out of single gauze because that's what I could get at the local sewing store. That was not totally synthetic. It was a cotton polyester mix, but I just wanted to try it, and I didn't have, because I've been buying in 3-yard lots and I needed 5, and anyways, I could buy it and I could try it. Oh my gosh, that single gauze was so wiggly. I put it in the wash. I've been wearing the dress. I love the dress. The seams are pretty horrific. Making the stitches lie flat on single gauze, really lightweight, it's not easy. I hope it comes out of the dryer or the washer, I should say, in one piece. I don't know, but anyways, so I've learned also from that, like, I'm still a beginner, and so to pick simple cottons, chambrays, linens that don't wiggle around while you're sewing them, that's where I need to be right now, and not to go totally willy-nilly with whatever fabric floats my fancy at the time or sparks my whatever that expression is, and just stick to sort of some more stable stuff while I'm learning. But anyways, gotta try, you gotta learn. I'm wearing another skirt that I made. This is the peppermint skirt out of a really nice seersucker. I made this last summer, last fall, and yeah, my homemade skirts are on constant rotation. And now that I've got a top pattern that I really like, I can't wait to add that too. It's not quite ready for that temperature wise, and but it will be probably really soon. And also with that cardigan I'm knitting, that's a little perfect topper. So all set, getting there. So that's pretty much all my updates. I do intend to come back every 2 weeks. Just sometimes if there's just nothing that I really want to, I have to report to you, there's just no point. So I hope that's cool with you. There might be more 3 weeks pauses, but yeah, but just know I'm knitting, I'm designing, I'm thinking of the community. I love this community. I watch a lot of podcasts. So I'm still staying in touch with the community. And I'm always trying to be creative and crafting because that is so important to me, and as I'm sure it is for you too. So with that, I will leave you and say see you in 2 weeks. 2 weeks, not that sounds like the peace sign. I think this was popular when I was a kid. You can't do those things twice. So anyways, 2 weeks. See you then. Thanks. Happy knitting, happy sewing, happy crafting. Bye.